Welcome everyone. Here is Aditya Novotny with a very, very special guest of honor, Artemis from Australia. And Artemis, please introduce yourself.
Oh, well, that's a lovely thing to do. I have been with Young Living since September 1998. So I'm coming up to a quarter of a century with Young Living later on this year. So it's been a journey that has changed my life.
That is fantastic. And all that is known of you is the name Artemis.
Yes.
Like the goddess. We have been here on the cruise in Syracuse.
Yeah.
We have been to the Artemis temple. We have been to the Artemis fountain. We took videos. And now finally we have you here live in our suite. Is there anything else known about the mortal named Artemis?
Look, my journey's a really varied one because I came from an absolute love of animals, just like my namesake, Artemis. She's the protectoress of women and small animals. So I'm originally a zoologist in my first career, and then I moved into spiritual work, and it was when I was doing spiritual and healing work that Young Living came and crossed my path, and it's blended so beautifully into everything that I do.
There's three things immediately noticeable. Don't know how it comes across in the video. Artemis' luminous eyes, her perfect posture, beautiful spine, and while you speak, you are emanating silence, you are emanating peace.
Yeah.
Does this come all in one package, or is this result of various practices?
Many different practices. I've been deeply spiritual ever since I was a teenager, and have done many styles of spiritual practice over the years, different meditation techniques, and followed different teachers. However, the teaching that calls me the most right now is a lineage that goes back to Atlantis.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Ayla has been a subscriber to your newsletter for, 10 years. I've been for 12 or 13 years as soon as I became aware. However, I have to confess, Ayla reads each issue from beginning to end. I glance through it, and when something catches my interest, I read it. And I'm amazed. Artemis is offering this to the whole network, all sister lines, brother lines, in Young Living for free, month by month by month. Yeah. Can you tell us something about the philosophy that is behind? Because not everybody is sharing like that.
Yeah, there are definitely things that I do purely for my team so that they feel special. And then there are other things I do that I share as far and wide as I can. And there are two beautiful diamonds. One of them has passed away that used to do a bulletin like mine. And I was so grateful to them, and I learned so much from it that many years ago I decided to duplicate it. And that was in the days where we were allowed to say a lot more than what we can say today. So my bulletins used to be very short and sweet, and they were mostly testimonials, and wow, testimonials. And I know you know what I mean by that. The things that we're talking about, the real power of our essential oils. So obviously after compliance hit and we had to become a lot more careful with our languaging, I've had to craft them with more care to make sure that they remain compliant, but they still give incredible value.
So nice.
Yeah.
So we come to Ayla's question to you in a moment. I'm very curious, a few more questions to ask to you. One thing is very personal, because you were kind enough to lend Kristen Todd to us for 3 years. And if you watch this, Kristen, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you have done to the EMEA market, to Europe. Kristen has asked me right in the beginning, Aditya, which oils do you need? And we were so far behind on oils. I found out that you even had Egyptian gold in Australia and some other great oils. And I said, Kristen, we don't even have these. And she really made it possible to get 28 different oils and oil sets for us to Europe. Oils that should have been there for years and no one ever cared.
Yeah.
And she made it possible. And then she had that difficult period, 2020 to 2022, these 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how she did it, how she really kept us all. Before she was in Australia, can you share a few words about Kristen?
She is an incredible leader, and she inspired so much momentum in Australia with her ideas. And I feel very blessed to have become a friend of hers over that time. So she's just an amazing woman with she's a powerhouse of energy and such a vision and such loyalty to Young Living.
Yeah.
And just on the topic of the oils she brought into Europe, I had always been really distressed that Europe was missing so many amazing oils. It just didn't feel right. So I'm so happy that you've now got 28 new oils in there.
Yeah, the last one is still coming, Blue Yarrow. She also made it possible. I found it on Highland Flats that there was Blue Yarrow growing, and I said, why? Because it's only in mister otherwise in the oil blend. And then suddenly I find out she made even this possible. That's wonderful. So a huge heart and a powerhouse, and I'm so grateful. And I also heard that you work together very well with her, because for me that's also important to know, especially when leaders grow into the higher ranks, what is advisable, in how far can you work together with corporate, and where are the limits. And also some, they try to embrace corporate too much to take advantage, whereas others, they shy away and don't do enough cooperation. What is your take on that? What do you advise?
So for me, it's really a combination of both. So on this particular cruise, I've taken the chance to get to know our executive team even better in a more social setting, and it's been so wonderful. So I believe that it's important to build those sorts of relationships. And I've also always felt that I have their back and they have my back.
Yeah.
And that's been a really good relationship.
Yeah.
It means that they know when I broach them with something that's concerning me,
Yeah.
that it's done from the right place.
Yeah.
And because I give compliments as readily as I will speak up about things that are concerning me, it means that they're not on the defensive all the time, thinking that I'm constantly bombarding them with problems. They know that I care. And it means for me also that if they say no to me, I know there's a good reason. Because I know that having built that great relationship, if it's something they can possibly do, we're all Team Young Living, they'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And if they can't, and they say, I can't, and this is why, I'll accept that.
So, of course, that they are listening to you and taking you serious means you have a long-term commitment with the company, 25 years. And what strikes me, watching from 2 continents further away, you have grown sustainably. And this is because some, they grow very big, then they lose legs, as it is called. Whereas with you, you take real smart and wise spacing. And it's not for you like to hit the rank, in like record time, but you grow like nature grows, like trees that become 500,000 years old. Can you tell us about this? Why you're not so career crazy, but why you grow in that natural speed?
I feel that a lot of that is because of my spiritual connection. I've always known that I'm doing Young Living for the love of it. And the money, I'm incredibly grateful for the money. It has done so many wonderful things for me. Yet even if you took the money away, I would still be sharing Young Living. I would still be using it to help people and transform lives, because that's my why. So I'm very connected with my why, why I'm here. And
this is, by the way, the best why.
Yeah.
Even if I would do it for free, I would still do it.
Yeah. And Gary Young was the same. Like he just wanted to help people. Nothing brought him more joy than to make a difference to someone. And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
So I've built my business on that premise. And that means that because the primary focus isn't the money, I'm better able to ride the ups and downs, because as in any business, there's going to be ups and downs. So it means that the whole foundation of my team is built on helping people understand the miracle of these products that we've got. And just to feel the same way that I do, that there's no way they want even a day to go by without these beautiful products in their lives. And that builds a very loyal base of people.
Yeah.
And from there, the leaders emerge. And sometimes the leaders drop off, and then new leaders emerge, and the leaders drop off. You know, that's a natural cycle of things.
Like many people say, oh, you have to be fixed on the right round diamond right from the beginning. And indeed, others who don't care for rank, they very often stagnate. It's also, I suspect, here is a kind of golden middle way. And I was wondering, because I feel very much drawn to the way how you built your organization, watching it from afar, but I presume it's very similar how I'm doing it. And I also couldn't do it, in any other way.
Yeah.
Like, let it basically come by the universe or by the law of nature. However, sometimes it happens that people, they are, like we are, very spiritual. They love the people, they love the product, they love Gary's mission, Young Living's mission, and yet they can't make it happen. So there must be also a little thing of zeal, of goal-orientedness into there as well. Yeah. How do you combine that?
It's a great question, Aditya, because I'm a really good businesswoman, and I understand the strategy of building Young Living and the strategy of legs, and where will I place people, and what do I need to consolidate at my rank, and where should I put my focus. So all of that is happening in my mind, but I keep it also very much in the background. So in the foreground, what people experience from me is the heart of my love of the products, and that's how I want it to be. And then when someone catches that flame, the same flame I've got, and they want to help other people, then I will start to mentor them. And I have two ways of mentoring. I have a general structure which just teaches people all the basics of how to grow in Young Living. What's different about Young Living? What do they need to know about compliance? What do they need to know about the compensation plan? How to run classes? The fact that their classes can be online or in person. I'm not strong on social media myself, but also, my training includes just the acknowledgement that you can do this on social media if that's your thing. I really believe we need to find our own groove within Young Living. Not everyone is going to work with social media. Not everyone is going to work with live classes. But once I see that people are growing with that they've got that natural ability to attract others and be that light, then I start to offer more personal coaching. And I really enjoy doing that. And when I do that, I'm listening with all of my senses to understand what is it for that person that is blocking them and holding them back. And I set them challenges. tasks that they need to do, and sometimes those tasks will be income producing activities, it will be certain goals that they can reach, but sometimes it's personal things for them to do. One of my top leaders is so incredibly good at giving to everyone in her team, but she was burning out herself, that when I was mentoring her, my challenge to her was to have a massage every single week, or body work or healing. And she was so resistant to it. Initially, it was like, oh, only if I don't have a class on that day. But now, that was maybe a year ago, and now she never goes without her weekly treatment. And she posts about it on social media, and her team loves seeing that she's actually caring for herself, not just for them. And so it's been a real game changer, and it's given her the help she needs to be able to last into the distance.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is for many of us as well. Artemis is speaking the words of Gary, who said we are a wellness company, not a hype company.
Yeah.
And that's what many of us luckily can learn within Young Living, to take care of ourselves and not to burn out. So thank you for that reminder. And I needed to hear that again one more time, and I'm very grateful. And how do you do it for yourself? 1 day off, 2 days off per week, or you are like 7 days a week?
I generally work 7 days a week.
That's what I thought.
However, within the week, I've got my balance. So I do a weekly massage that I absolutely look forward to. That's on a Thursday afternoon. I have just started up Zouk dancing, which is a Brazilian type of salsa, and I do that on a Wednesday night, and that gets me out and around people that I get to socialize with.
So nice.
Yeah,
networking.
I really enjoy that, and I also do volunteer work rescuing snakes.
Wow.
So I used to rescue a lot of different animals, but now I specialize in snakes, mostly pythons. And again, that just fills my cup. So I'm very good at listening to myself. And if I feel like, oh, I'm pushing a bit too hard, I just need to back off, I'll just adjust my schedule, drop some things off, make sure I've got some more free time. And so for me, it's not so much a day off, but it's those rituals. I go for walks on the beach each weekend, go for swims. And yeah, I live at home with 3 beautiful cats, so they always get plenty of cuddle times for me. So it's, I guess, therefore, I would say I like to live a life in balance. Yeah. That means that each day can have those opportunities to self-care and nurture, eat beautiful food or catch up with friends or be spontaneous. And I weave Young Living and my Young Living activities around that.
Actually, I was wondering why, in your opinion, why do people need essential oils? Why is it so important to have them?
Because they're the quickest way to raise our frequency and bring ourselves back into balance. And we all need that. We're in a chaotic world that is throwing us around like a boat in the ocean in a stormy sea. And the sooner and easier we can have that beautiful balance physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the easier it is to get on with life and what we're really here for. Touching people, bringing oils into every home in the world, or whatever else our passion is.
And what are your favorite oils, and how do you use them?
I have something called the 7 oil ritual that I created a few years ago, and I still do that every morning. So I start with a Valor Balance, and then I follow that with Sacred Mountain on my shoulders. So it will be 3 drops of Valor under each foot, and I give myself a Valor Balance, 2 drops of Sacred Mountain on each shoulder, And when I do that, I just remind myself that it's safe to be vulnerable so that I don't walk around with armor on. Then 1 drop of gathering oil on my solar plexus, and I just breathe into my solar plexus. Gratitude on my heart, acknowledging something that I'm grateful for outside of myself. And then sensation on my sacral chakra, acknowledging something I love and appreciate about myself. Abundance oil on my wrists, and I rub that over myself and acknowledge that I deserve abundance and I deserve love. And then I finish with white angelica, rubbed over my shoulders, rubbed over my aura. And that's how I start my day.
So what are your main activities to grow your business?
That's a good question. And one of the things I'll say is that we're all in different phases of our Young Living journey. So mine and the activities I do aren't necessarily what I would encourage my team to be duplicating. So one of my main activities is writing my bulletins. And because I write it, it saves so many people from having to duplicate that. Yeah, so I'll often spend a day in a week working on that, coming up with the text, coming up with the design, getting it ready, sending it out. So that's a very important part of how I share. I also have a spiritual blog which I use to bring or to reach out to people that haven't heard of Young Living, that are interested in spiritual things. And so by reading the blog, I have some gentle messages about Young Living in there. So that's 2 that I get to write each week. And then I do Facebook Lives in my team. I've got a team Facebook group, so I do Facebook Lives there. We do lots of posts, lots of education in there. We have our Australian convention coming up in a few weeks' time, so I've got a big team event before then that we're preparing for, to invite our team to come and be blessed with lots of guest speakers, and so I'm really excited in preparing for that. So those are just some of the things that I do, and of course classes.
So back to the raindrop. What is the magic behind the raindrop?
It's a master technique. So it doesn't matter what's happening in your life, raindrop technique is going to give you an incredible gift.
So if someone who is not yet diamond, like maybe gold or below, struggling with their business, but they still want to keep going, what would you advise?
What I'm saying to all my team at the moment is that we're in challenging waters right now in our world, and Young Living is as impacted by that as many other businesses are. And so I say it's like a beautiful tree that's coming into winter and it's starting to drop its leaves. So the leaves that it will drop first are the ones that are least strong. And to me, that's a great analogy, that the people that fall away from Young Living in these difficult times, when they've got to be careful with money and they're looking at their budgets and going, oh, I can't really afford Young Living, they're the people who don't fully see the value that these products are to them. Whereas the leaves that hang on through even the deepest winter are the ones that know without any doubt that these products are life-changing, and they would go without food in order to pay for their oils and their other products. And so they're the people that are really aligned and really understand the value of the oils. So the question becomes, how do we help more people reach that point? And to me, that's about developing relationships with all of our different team members and reaching out to them and helping them have those definitive experiences so that they will appreciate the oils at such a deep level that they'll be one of the leaves that stays with the tree. So for anyone that's struggling to grow a business at the moment, I'd say, I understand. It's difficult waters right now. And don't be too hard on yourself. Yet firstly, be really connected with your own why, because that's what will help you be a strong leaf on that tree, and help people around you in your team to have the most incredible, inspirational, life-changing experiences with the products. So that means educate, connect, educate, connect, educate, connect.
It's fascinating what you say about don't be so hard on yourself. Here we're in the land of the citrus trees, bergamots, oranges, grapefruits, lemons. And the orange, I found out when studying deeper from my oil videos on orange, is also against obsessiveness, self-criticism, being hard on yourself. And what we experienced in the fairs, we do trade shows also in the German-speaking countries. Before the crisis, it was always lemon, peppermint, lavender. Now, the number one oil people looking for is orange. Isn't it amazing? So this is a very wise advice in times of crisis. Don't be so hard on yourself. And orange is a big helper, because Ayla is a fantastic raindrop giver, and she does it intuitively. And I've received raindrops from, I don't know how many people, 20 probably. Hers are among the very best. I've given the raindrops to about 100 different backs, because it's really interesting. So many people with so many different histories. I'm sure we have given to 1,000 different people. And there is something happening. And you said it's a master technique. And there is something that is not you doing this, but something else. Could you describe this further?
I think it goes beyond words. The reason I describe it as a master technique is that there's an oil for every part of our body, and it works so intelligently. It works not just physically, but also emotionally, and also mentally, and also spiritually. So for me, when I've watched it work on people, they walk out receiving exactly what they need. So some people will just fall asleep, and they just need that nourishment in their whole energy field. Some people will have emotional releases, some people will have spiritual experiences, some people will have just incredible physical rebalancing, and that's what I notice.
Yeah. When there is, after applying the warm compress, as we call it in the German-speaking countries, hot compress, you can hold with your hands the feet of the person on the massage bed. Do you do that? Do you do it the whole length of time? And if you do, what do you do while holding their feet?
No, because in 2007, Gary asked me not to teach the hot compress.
Okay,
so
that is interesting.
Yeah, so we don't incorporate it. I personally do.
Yeah.
But when I have the compress on, I actually leave the room and I allow the person to sink.
That is very interesting.
And that's just my intuitive feeling with that. It's not that there's anything wrong with holding them.
Yeah.
If you wish to hold them, but I actually step away and let them just drop with no one around. And
that's fantastic.
I should also say my room is surrounded by nature.
Yeah.
So I'm literally, when I leave them, that's at the very end of the treatment.
Yeah.
I'm leaving them in the hands of spirit.
Yeah.
For whatever needs to happen for them.
This is unique. And I'm very grateful you're telling this, because for me this was the one unsolved question about the raindrop. We cannot call it hot compress. By law it has to be called warm compress, because only a legalized therapist can do it. There's no measuring really how many degrees difference in what is hot, what is warm. But then holding their feet, to me, some people then give Reiki to them. Some people do all kinds of stuff, which I find potentially intrusive, because their whole system is the most open. And then, Gary, Brittany told you to leave the room and to let
Gary
them-
didn't tell me to do that.
You found that for yourself.
That's what I've chosen to do. So Gary told me not to teach the warm compress, and that was only
Because
because
it was advanced.
in 2007, in America, he realized it was going to get people into trouble.
Okay.
So prior to that, I used to teach it,
Yeah.
and then we stopped teaching it, but I began doing it again myself for my own private clients. We don't teach it,
Yeah.
but I do it. And just my feeling has always been at that stage to just give them the space, leave the room.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And that's, I guess what that says is there are times that our own intuition will guide us on what is right for that person.
Yeah. In a way, it's like Jesus Christ said to those he helped, it happens according to your faith.
Yeah.
So he didn't force anything on them. And so you leave them in this moment. How long do you leave them inside the room?
10 or 15 minutes for me.
Okay. Fantastic.
What was your game like when you were introduced to the oils? Did you start the business right away, or was there something that made you change and go for the business?
It was fairly soon. That's a good question. And I started Young Living and vowed I wasn't going to do the business, because when I heard that it was network marketing, I'd had 3 really bad experiences with network marketing, and I was done with network marketing. However, I was loving the product so much that one of my psychic clients was having a reading with me, and she became incredibly emotional about something she was talking about. And I knew that I had another client coming 10 minutes later, and I needed to help this client move through those emotions very quickly. And I thought, I'll just put a drop of joy oil on her heart. And I did that, and the transformation in her was incredible. And she balanced right out. She was happy and laughing within 10 minutes. And when she was leaving to go home, she said, by the way, do you have any information on those oils? And I had a missing link cassette. That was how I was introduced. And I gave it to her, and she played it on the way home, and she got home and she rang me and she said, Artemis, I want to be a distributor. And I had one of those oh shit moments of going, oh no, this wasn't what I was planning on. But I reached out to my upline for help, and that was how I started.
And now it's thousands and thousands of people, thankfully. Final question. The link where people can sign up for your newsletter.
Yeah, if they go to theoiltemple.com.au/blog.
Theoiltemple.com.au for Australia /blog.
Then that will take them to the page of blogs, and they can open any blog, and at the bottom is a way to enroll.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Artemis.
Oh, you're welcome,
Wonderful.
Aditya.
Thank you.